Oh, welcome and good evening. I'm Barbara Schreiner Trudell. Please join with me in consciousness as we set the intention for this evening's gathering. Within the infinite and the absolute, I find strength and wisdom, purpose and possibility. I acknowledge that I'm created in the image and likeness of the Creator, and therefore I am now and have always been perfect, whole, and complete. As I relax into this moment, I know that this evening is a gift and a blessing, and that whatever it is we need to hear, discover, learn, or awaken to, it is fully revealed. So, with a grateful and humble heart, I release these ideas into the law of mind. I know it is done. Please join me in saying, and so it is. Well, welcome, welcome. I want to begin this evening by sharing with you the land acknowledgement. Oh, excuse me, our vision. Sorry, Deja. Our vision is transforming humanity through the emergence of the sacred, authentic self. So that means allowing the divine of you to be fully revealed. So, and I'm letting that happen right now with all my little errors and mistakes. It's perfect, isn't it? And now our land acknowledgement. The land we are meeting on has been home to the indigenous people and nations long before colonial documentation of time, and is specifically the land of the Wendat, Anishinaabe, Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Haudenosaunee. The territory of what is known today as Toronto is under the one dish, one spoon wampum belt, a peace treaty between the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe, and is a mutual agreement between nations for sharing land and resources. The territories that encompass the GTA are under a number of treaties, including Treaty 13 and the Williams Treaty. There have been many Indigenous names and words associated with this place, and today it is home to a multitude of Indigenous people, languages, and cultures from around the world. And we are here today as part of that collective. And as we begin today, let us just take a moment to release the day and to relax fully into this time of meditation. Please join with me.
Take me with you, I'm ready to go. Let the winds of change shape and blow. Now I am willing to see another part of me. Take me with you, I'm ready to go. Let the winds of change shape and blow. Now I am willing to see another part of me.
It is in relaxing into this moment, in acknowledging the one presence and the one power, that I acknowledge that it's right here where I am being me, that it is there being you. So I invite you to just take a deep breath in, to relax your body, quiet your mind. And let us just shed the day, let go of the busyness or the fun of it, however today was spent. Just letting it be. And as I relax my body and mind, I come to know that I am created in the image and of the likeness of this divine creator. And as such, I'm part of the universal whole. That all that it is some part of me, that I live, move, and have my being in it. And so I know that I am and have always been created exactly as I should be, that I am perfect, whole, and complete. So relaxed and centered and filled with a sense of divine possibility, knowing that change occurs easily, comfortably, as I surrender into this divine flow. I acknowledge and recognize that I am the right person at the right time, doing the right things. And that this journey of life and living is absolutely a gift. Acknowledging it as such, I take this moment and this time, and I let it go into the law of mind where I know it is done. The winds of change, fully enveloped, embraced, and allowed, I move into a greater vision, a greater possibility for my life. All is well, and so it is.
Take me with you, I'm ready to go. Let the winds of change shape and blow. Now I am willing to see another part of me.
This journey that we're on is an opportunity to see the world in a new way. And here at CSL on the Lake, we're here to shift consciousness, expand consciousness, and create new ideas for what is possible. And so our mission is on the screen if you'd like to read along, is to welcome you as you are, where you are, without judgment or criticism, providing a sacred place of learning and growing as you seek to achieve your greatest dreams. We offer Science Mind classes, social events, inspiring workshops, thought-provoking services, and practitioner support. We honor the revelation of the emerging sacred authentic self through our positive messaging and our loving support. We welcome you here. We're grateful that you're here.
You are beautiful, true and divine. You are beautiful, true and divine. When I look in your eyes, I see you shine. You are beautiful, true and divine. Can you see the beauty you are? Blazing like a shining star. If only you could see what I see, the perfection of your divinity. You are beautiful, true and divine. You are beautiful, true and divine. When I look in your eyes, I see you shine. You are beautiful, true and divine. I know that there are times when you doubt the effect of all you give out. Everyone who knows you agrees the love you give is your legacy. You are beautiful, true and divine. You are beautiful, true and divine. When I look in your eyes, I beautiful, true, and divine. And I see it in everything you do. I see it in you. I see it in you. I see it in you. Are beautiful, true, and divine. You are beautiful, true, and divine. When I look in your eyes, I see you shine. You are beautiful, true, and divine. You are beautiful, true, and divine. You are beautiful, true, and divine. You are. You are. You are so beautiful. You are. You are. You are. You are. You are. You are.
Well, tonight's talk, just one you. That's my great grandson in that photograph. The video you just watched was a collection of photos from my family and friends. It was one of those things to create a video that we could watch with some great music, because I didn't have a video for that music. So anyway, welcome, welcome. So the talk today is really about the importance of each one of us finding our path. And Alan Cohen wrote, happy people attract what they want in life more often than unhappy people. We don't become happy because we get what we want. We get what we want because we choose happiness first. I love that. I love that quote, because I think when we're living an authentic life, when we are living from our true divine nature, then good gets added to that. As we learn to accept ourselves as we are, where we are, and to love who we are, and maybe even begin to like who we are, joy results. And the answer becomes something really, really beautiful. So that song that we just listened to, You're Beautiful, True, and Divine, I think sometimes we forget that. Sometimes we go through our day thinking, oh, I'm broken, I need to be fixed, something needs to be different. I need to gain weight or lose weight, or I need to change my hair color, or something like that. So we want to come to a place of going, I am who I am, where I am, as I am in this now moment. And that as I do that, I begin to reveal a greater essence, and I begin to attract into my life more of what I've truly been looking for. So here's the thing. You are perfect, whole, and complete. You're unrepeatable, right? There's no other person just like you. The gifts and talents you have are unique and special to you. So I got to start with, something that Pierre had shared with me earlier, but I'm really, really excited because I got called pretty today. Can you imagine that? Well, actually, the full statement was, you're pretty annoying, but I only focus on the positive. Where do you focus your attention? Are you focusing it on the positive or the negative? Are you hearing what you want to hear, or are you hearing a bunch of things that maybe got implanted when you were a young person? Realizing our own essence and then living from that place is so important, because it empowers us to be the very best that we can be, which then changes our world. Albert Einstein was asked the question, what is the most important question facing humankind today? And I think it's probably the same question now. And he answered, is the universe a friendly place? It is. I'm here to tell you it is. And to help illustrate that, I just want to share a story with you that I read in the book, Joy is My Compass by Alan Cohen. And this is about a doctor. I don't want to treat this man, the doctor thought to himself. Though he would not say it aloud, he was having a very hard time being with this patient. The man had entered Nelson Decker's chiropractic office in Englewood, New Jersey, and requested free service as he had no money to pay. Dr. Decker had offered service without charge before, but this man was tougher to deal with. He was dirty, unkempt, and emitted a strong body odor. The doctor wondered when the man had last had a bath. How can I treat this man, he wondered. Then Nelson remembered years before when he had studied healing with some Native American teachers. One of the elders had told him, if you want to be a real healer, find something you honestly like in every situation. Honestly was the key word here. What can I honestly say I like about this man? The doctor wondered. There wasn't much. He scanned the fellow from head to toe. Finally, he noticed that the man's shoelaces were tied neatly. Being a rather tidy fellow himself, Nelson appreciated that even though this fellow was in a state of dishevelment, his shoes were laced in an orderly fashion. And at that moment, something happened in Dr. Decker's heart. He felt an opening. It was as if he had discovered a door in a room that first appeared totally bounded by walls. He felt that on some level, even if it did not seem to be a very important one, he was joined with this man who had first seemed to be so different. Nelson had broken through the membrane of his sense of separation and opened a crack in the door, a door to healing. A feeling of peace and relief began to flow through his body, and with this newfound sense of respect, he willingly treated the man. The fellow thanked him and left the office. About a week later, the same fellow returned. This time he looked much better. He was clean, dressed neatly, and his body odor was gone. The doctor was pleased to see this transformation in such a short time. The fellow approached Nelson and took his hand. Dr. Decker, he began, I want to thank you for saving my life. What do you mean? The physician responded. I didn't know you had a life-threatening illness. When I walked through your door last week, I was in the pits of my life, the man explained. Everything had fallen apart, and I'd been wandering the streets of New York City for I don't know how long. I decided that I could go on no longer. I made my way to the George Washington Bridge, where I fully intended to jump to oblivion. As I approached the bridge, the thought came to me that I should give life one more chance. I decided I would walk across the bridge and see if someone on the other side would help me. Your office was the first place I saw, so I entered. If you had rejected me or been gruff, I think I would have turned around and jumped. But you were so kind and helpful, even though I had no money and I was a mess. Dr. Decker, you made the difference in my living or dying. Since you treated me, things have started to go my way, and now I feel that I truly want to live, and I will, thanks to you. The man shook Dr. Decker's hand and walked out the door. Nelson sat back in his office chair, stunned. He was astonished to consider the effect of his shift in perception about the man. The doctor's willingness to join with this fellow and treat him had brought about a healing far beyond anything that Nelson had considered. It was a lesson that changed the doctor's career and his life. So when we look at this journey that we're on and the way that we show up, and I had somebody ask me last week if I would talk about spiritual practice and, what that involves and what that would look like. Well, I'm here to say that what Dr. Decker did in that moment of taking a pause and choosing to shift his perception, that is a spiritual practice, and probably one of the most important. We meditate and we do treatment, we have gratitude and forgiveness, we do journaling, but most importantly, our day-to-day thoughts and feelings about ourselves and about others is really essential if we want to create a world that, kind of works in the highest and best good for all people and all humanity. It requires sometimes a shift in perception. Now, through our meditation and treatment practice, of course, that helps to kind of prime the pump, so to speak, right? It sets us on the path to changing the way we look at the world and how we look at life, so that we can show up in a much more powerful, positive, and productive way, where we can begin cooperation and collaboration rather than separation. So really important that we check in on a regular basis, because we don't know necessarily what somebody else is going through. We don't know somebody else's story. It's easy to look at them and go, oh, it's this or it's that. But none of that is true. What I see through my vision when I look out into the world is my perception of reality based on my upbringing, my knowledge, my understanding. If I want to be a change agent in the world, if I want to bring love and peace wherever I go, if I want to see the world working in a beautiful, harmonious way, then I must begin within me. And this is why the spiritual practice is so essential. When we take time for forgiveness, example, forgiveness, powerful, powerful way of letting go of the past, a powerful way of setting our mind right so that we can move forward and let go of what was or what wasn't working and begin to create something much more exciting and harmonious. The idea is, where is your mind in any given moment? Where is your mind? I remember hearing a story years ago about a gentleman who'd had a near-death experience. His name was Daniel Brinkley, and he talked about having this near-death experience. He was struck by lightning, and when he passed over before he was resuscitated, he had a life experience, right? He got to see his life flash before his eyes. But the interesting thing he shared was that he saw it not from his perspective, but from the perspective of the people around him, the people that he had touched in his life. Now, he'd been a Navy SEAL, and he not only experienced it from the perspective of people that he may have killed, but also everyone that their lives touched. And so it was quite a horrific experience for him. When he returned to consciousness, he decided he was going to change his life and change his ways and do things differently, and went on to, create love and harmony, like he was really seeking to do something different. And a while later, I can't remember how long, he had a severe heart attack, and again was, well, they say dead, but, of course, they brought him back again. But this time he had a completely different experience. And he shares a story of a moment that happened in this new life of his, that when he had the review, that this one touched him most deeply. He was walking up to an office building and a woman was coming out. And so he held the door for her, or maybe she was going in, I can't remember. He held the door for her and smiled at her. That's it. In the life review, seeing it from her perspective, she was going into that building to go to the top and jump from the roof, feeling that nobody cared, nobody would notice. A little tiny act like that, can be a life-changing experience for someone. So we don't know the impact that we have on the people around us. But what I do know is that as we begin to live from the inside out, as we begin to accept ourselves as we are, where we are, with all our idiosyncrasies, all our little, whatevers, as we begin to love ourselves and maybe even like ourselves, we begin to show up in the world differently. We show up with a greater sense of peace and kindness, maybe more joy and laughter. My husband and I have been sharing puns lately, as you heard earlier it's just funny. It's funny to, have these little silly, simple little phrases that cause us to have a giggle. When we walk down the street, I'll take my dog out for a walk, and he loves to sniff, sniff, sniff. So the walks are never very fast. We might go a great distance, but we do it in short time. because he wants to stop and smell and just check out what's going on. So we let him. That's his great joy, is to be able to smell. And because we know he's going blind and deaf, that sense of smell is so important. So that's one of the things we can do for him. I want you to think about the things you can do for you that will allow you to feel more joy in your life. What is it that the people around you might want or need so that they can experience greater joy and peace in their lives as well? When we consider our spiritual practice, it really is about being present in this now moment. That really is the practice. Whether we're journaling, we're praying, we're meditating, we're doing forgiveness work or gratitude work, whatever it is we're doing, when we are present in the now moment, that's the point of power. Now is the only time that exists. There was a quote from The Science of Mind. Ernest Holmes wrote, "Whatever is true of the universe as a whole must also be true of the individual as some part of this whole." So when we think about the universe and the scope of the universe, what we know is that it is infinite. We know it is powerful, must be intelligent, because look at what's evolving out of it. So if it's all powerful, all knowing, and everywhere present, and that we live, move, and have our being in it, then that power, that knowing, that knowledge, all of that is already within us. It's not something we need to go and find. Being spiritual is not something we do. It is who we are. The harder part for a spiritual being, I think, is to have this human experience, right? Some of my students will say that on occasion. It's like the human experience is the tough part. As spiritual beings, we're infinite. We have the ability, the power to create our lives in any way we choose. We can move forward with a great sense of desire and possibility and create a blissful existence by simply starting on the inside and working our way out. That when we begin here and then move here, we begin to see that what's out here it's already done. It's already been created. There's nothing more we can do there. It's done. However, whatever I do in this now moment is going to impact everything there. When I created that video this afternoon, as I was working on it and going through thousands of pictures, I wish I'd had more time because there's few pictures I would have liked to have added or changed. But what's interesting is just looking in the eyes of my family and stuff to just appreciate the beauty, regardless of the moments where we get along or don't, regardless of the moments when we might have an argument or disagree with one another. Ultimately, there's a deep sense of love and appreciation for the incredible talents and gifts that each person has. Every one of us is a really important part of this life journey and process, and it's up to us to shine, to show up as who we truly are. And, instead of buying into the idea that somehow we're broken and flawed. I think that's the saddest thing, is when we look in the mirror or we look at our lives and we go, oh no. The story I shared with you earlier, Dr. Decker, and the kindness that he showed to that man, that's a kindness all of us can do. Every one of us has the ability to smile at a stranger, to sit down and hug a child who's sad, or to even walk our dog and let our dog sniff away. No rush to get back home, just go ahead and sniff away. Maybe to even honor our own self when we're feeling sad or lonely, or I don't know, maybe angry or depressed, to sit for a moment in that feeling and go, wow, here's where I am. Doesn't make me bad and wrong. It is simply an experience I'm having. And as I change my thinking and change my perception of events, I begin to change how I feel about it. And that's the most powerful thing of all. One of the other things I read in Joy is My Compass was a poem that was written by Michael Stillwater and Alan Cohen. And I'm going to share that with you now. Joy is my compass. I'm taking the risk to follow my bliss. I'm making a start to follow my heart, and I'm ready now. Joy is my compass. It leads me everywhere I need to go. It shows me everything I need to know. It is my highway home. Joy is my compass. My spirit is singing. My heart song is ringing. The soul of my life is bringing me home. I love the idea of joy as the compass, right? Like I do a show on Fridays called The Joy Show. And joy to me is an acronym for just one you. And the people that I interview on my show are people who are living their authentic truth. They're, being passionate about what they believe and who they are, and they're living their lives with great energy and vibration. And this week, my guest is Dr. Suresh Rao, who has started an organization called climatehealers.org. And he's just this fully alive and creative man who is doing whatever he can as a systems engineer to create a healed world. And by that, I mean stopping global warming. So he's got a way he thinks that will work. And it's exciting to listen to him because he's very passionate about what it is that he's doing and why he's doing it. And one of the very cool things about it is the promise he made to his little granddaughter when she was 9 years old. And she made him do a pinky swear that he would somehow heal the world of global warming. And so she had to show him what a pinky swear was. And it was just lovely to hear this grandfather speak with such love and gratitude for this little child who's going, something needs to be done. Our world is collapsing around us. And of course, we know that should the world cease to be habitable for us, we're the ones who'll be gone, and then it'll revitalize itself when we're out of the way. But the thing is, what I love is his passion. I had a gentleman on during Pride weekend, transgender male, who is a police constable. And it was really powerful listening to his story of choosing to live his authentic life, to be who he was rather than what people thought he was at birth. To make that change, although not easy, very fulfilling and rewarding in the long run. We're on a journey, and the most powerful thing we can do in this world is to find a way to like who we are, and then to live with that willingness to be strong and powerful. And so our spiritual practice is so essential. Because as I take time each day to meditate, it is in my meditation that I begin to see maybe things that are a little off track that I can reestablish. And then I do treatment. And when I'm doing spiritual mind treatment, I'm allowing myself to remember the truth. I'm not praying to some entity outside of myself. I'm knowing within myself that I am one with this divine power. And because I'm one with it, it is moving through me. I am the conduit for the energy of it. And if I want to manifest something different in my life, then I must be that difference. I must be that change in order to realize that result. So when we say change your thinking, change your life, it's absolutely the truth. Of course, the challenge is changing our thinking. Like any habit, I don't know who here has a habit that you've tried to break, but breaking habits can sometimes be a bit of a challenge. And once again, our daily practice becomes so essential, because as we create repetitive processes that are positive and productive, what happens is we begin to rewire our brains. We begin to change the pathways so that we can begin to experience things more positive, productive, beautiful. When I had a huge life-changing moment many years ago, it was when my boss called me into the office and gave me the third degree and said, change your attitude or get the hell out, basically what he said. And I, at that point, had never been fired from a job and wasn't about to be, because I was convinced that hard work was important and essential. And that's what I'd been taught as a child. And so I thought, what am I going to do? And I decided that I had to change. And so when I think back to that chant, winds of change, it reminded me of the journey that we go on whenever we see something in our life or in our world that we think could be better or different. It's up to us to begin within our own self to begin to make that change. You see, I'm not going to look at you and decide you need to change in any way, because as far as I'm concerned, you are created perfect, whole, and complete. That's the truth. And how you use that or what you do with that, that's your journey, that's your path, that's your way. But I'm here to tell you that we have the ability within us to begin to rewire ourselves, to change the way we look at the world. And our spiritual practice helps to remind us moment by moment. I have this new tattoo, and the top is a heart, and then below it is the symbol for the path to enlightenment. And I have that because every time I look in the mirror, I have a reminder that my pathway is clear, that regardless of what happens around me in the physical world, my pathway is clear, that I have to begin inside of me moment by moment to be the best me as much as I can in every way, every day. And when I slip, I look in the mirror and it's like, yes, there's a constant reminder because it's right there. The other thing I did was put a tattoo on my wrist that says, love is the answer. And again, this is my reminder, because we forget, don't we? Or maybe it's just me, but I think all of us at times we forget. Maybe we're tired or we're not feeling well. And so we forget. And so little reminders can be very, very helpful. And one of the things I like to get my students to do is write a message on the bathroom mirror in lipstick, or in erasable marker, I suppose would work too. But to put a message that says, I love you, or says, I'm a champion. And every time you look at it, you're reinforcing this idea that somehow how you're created, even if you're having the worst day ever, that doesn't mean you're less than. It just means you're having a day, and this too shall pass. That's what I love about life, is moment by moment and day by day, things are evolving and changing and moving. And I might have a really rough day one day, but then the next day something happens that is just so beautiful that I forget about the tough day before, the tough week before. When I experienced my healing in June, that was life-changing. Life-changing. I mean, I can walk and I can sit and I can stand and I can work out and I can go and play. And my great-grandson's coming to visit in October and I'll be able to play with him. And these things, they're the little things in life, but the little things are what make life beautiful. And so we're each here on a journey, and we get to make it whatever we want to. And this is what I love about the science of mind. The science of mind is a teaching that's very intelligent and very practical. And it is about the way that we think, the way that we use language, the way we show up. And just like the quote I shared earlier about the idea that happy people create happy lives, right? Alan Cohen wrote, happy people attract what they want in life more often than unhappy people. We don't become happy because we get what we want. We get what we want because we choose happiness first. So I want to invite you, as you're exploring your life and as you're weighing and measuring the things that you do and the way that you do it, I want to invite you to really pause. And wherever there's a judgment or a criticism, I want you to relax in the question. What do I really need, or what do I really want? This week, I listened to a remarkable TED Talk by a gentleman by the name of Daryl Davis. And this man, the talk is so beautiful. He was sharing the story of how a Black man would attend KKK rallies and why he did that, because that's what he did. He's a musician. And he decided when he was a young boy, he couldn't figure out this whole racism thing. It didn't really make sense to him. He didn't understand it. And so he started reading books and researching. And one day when he was older, he decided to sit down and interview the head of the KKK, the national head of the KKK. And he wanted to, when he met with him, first off, when his secretary booked the appointment, she did not tell the head of the KKK, Brian something was his name, that it was a Black man who was going to interview him. But he invited him to have a conversation, and the two chatted for quite a long time. What he discovered through this is that the reason that violence and hatred and things like this happen is out of ignorance. But that if we would take the time to sit and converse with one another, because what they developed was a respect for one another. They did not agree on many things, but they did respect each other. And because they respected each other, they were able to have these very in-depth conversations. And their relationship went on for years and years and years and years and years. And when he's doing this TED Talk, he actually has the robe that this man wore. And he hangs it up and goes, "This is the robe of the Grand Master," or whatever he was called. Things change when we take the time with life, when we allow ourselves to be present in life, not with a desire that, oh, it's got to be my way, but rather we as a collective. How do we create a world that we enjoy living in? How do we begin to reshape things so that harmony, collaboration, cooperation become the norm rather than dissension, separation, conflict? How do we begin to change that? And the way through it is to, number one, come to know yourself. First and foremost, come to know yourself. And as you journey along, be willing to know others. You don't have to agree. This man did not agree with most of what the KKK had to say or do. However, he was curious and he wanted to understand. And through understanding, he was able to develop respect and be respected. And that began to change the tide. When we respect and love and care about ourselves, when we respect and love and care about others, we begin to create a greater sense of collaboration and cooperation and community. And our world is a better place as a result. And our personal lives go from hectic to bliss, from misery to joy, from frustration to peace. All of this is possible, but it does require a change in thinking and a change in attitude. From my perception, I see the world one way. Doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just the way I see it. And for you, how you see the world is your perception. If the two of us sit together and talk about issues that are going on around us and are willing to simply listen and to respect one another, what happens is the conversation opens the doorway to something bright and beautiful and something wonderful. I believe that peace on earth is a possibility, but I know it's an inside job. And the only person who can do it in my life is me. I have to choose it moment by moment. The only person that can create it for you is you, being that peace that you want to see in the world. So day by day and moment by moment, as we accept that there's just one me, unrepeatable, there's just one you, unrepeatable, and that each one of us is absolutely essential to the unfolding of the universe at this time. As we come to that place of understanding, and when we choose to love ourselves and laugh at ourselves and just be beautiful, it's a remarkable thing. So in closing, I just want to share one more pun with you. This morning was really something. It was an eye opener. And now, Born This Way with Genevieve and Voices of Praise. Oh, yes, Born This Way. Weren't we all? I love that song. It's a great reminder that how we are is how we are, and it's all good. Finding our voice and our rhythm and our divine essence is such an important and exciting thing to do and to be, and to allow ourselves to really just enjoy life for all that it is. Well, I want to just take a moment to invite you to read with me the Offering Affirmation. This is that time in our service when we pass the imaginary basket and invite you to participate in the financial well-being of CSL on the Lake. Please join with me in saying the offering blessing. Love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, to prosper. It is evidence of my conviction. It does its good and perfect work through me now, and so it is. And there's a few ways you can give to CSL on the Lake. You can give to this ministry by e-transfer to admin@cslonthelake.com. You can visit our website, cslonthelake.com, and hit the give link, or you can send a check to Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, 38 Kootenay Crescent, Toronto, Ontario, M1J 1R7. And of course, all donations are tax deductible. Oh my goodness. Well, this has been a wonderful night. We have a few announcements. Book study is back on this Saturday. We're using the book, The Art of Abundance by Dennis Merritt Jones. And it is a terrific book about life in general, and it's really wonderful. So we'll be meeting at 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and just having a conversation about what's in the book and also answering any questions that you might have as a result of that. And he's going to be with us. I'm not sure if it's this weekend or next weekend, but I'll know that by Friday. So we have a class on Wednesday night. This is a course that covers the Science of Mind original textbook. So some of you may have that. So what we're doing in this is we're picking a part of the book and we're just asking questions, having conversations, and just reviewing what is being said and taught by Ernest Holmes in this particular course material, and it is powerful. So I invite you to join. It's $20. It's a drop-in class. Join when you can, don't when you can't. And I invite you all to participate this Wednesday. And I'm starting a course next week. What's next week? Yeah, the 10th. And Wednesday the 10th on how to officiate memorial services or celebration of life services. I know that this one can be a little bit of a challenge for some of us, not knowing how best to talk about death and dying or how to support a family that has just lost somebody who's near and dear to them, and to create a service that really honors and respects their loved ones. So it is a 4-week program. The workbook is included in the price of the program, and it runs for 4 weeks starting August the 10th. And if you're interested, send me an email at revbarbara@rogers.com, and I will get back to you with more details on that. And this Friday, Dr. Salish Rowe from climatehealers.org is my interviewee, and I am really, really excited. I had a fully transformative experience in the workshop that he presented, and it's changed my life. And so I just want to share more of what he's doing and how he's making the world a better place for all of us. So I invite you to tune in Friday at 3 p.m. And if you can't tune in at 3, you're working or whatever, or going away for the weekend, just know that it's on YouTube. Go to CSL on the Lake and go to our YouTube channel. All of my interviews over the past while are there. And last Friday, Dr. Rowe was supposed to be with me last Friday and was unable to make it. And so I did spiritual mind treatment and talked about it, taught it, gave examples of it. And so that was a great show. And no guests that week, just me. But if you're interested, it is on our YouTube channel. And starting in September, next month, here already, The Essential Ernest Holmes, a series of the different writings of Ernest and his talks, and it is going to be just a phenomenal course. And if you're seeking practitioner, we'll be teaching practitioner studies starting in September of 2023. So this is one of the prerequisite courses for anybody who's considering that path, or even beyond into ministry. This is required. So if you're interested, you can send an email to admin@cslonthelake.com. And self-mastery, the emergence of the true self. This is an 8-week class, and it starts on Saturday, September 17th, 10 a.m. to 12:30. And this, again, is another course that if you're considering practitioner training, this one is a requirement. And if you're just wanting to deepen your practice, expand your knowledge, and create a remarkable life for yourself, you want to take this class. Self-mastery, man, that's the way to go. So I invite you to join us for that. And you can register again at admin on cslonthelake.com. And, this is our first year, right? And that ends the end of September. And so our founding members, we're creating a beautiful painting. Our board president is an artist and is creating a beautiful painting that we will have up in our new space that we'll be using on Monday nights. And it will list all of the people who have been part of the founding members. So any donations we have received from the day we started to today will all be added together. And that will be the total of your giving. And that will determine whether you have a bronze leaf, a gold leaf, a platinum leaf, silver leaf, I'm not sure how we'll tell those apart. Anyway, I invite you to give and to give consciously and know that you're creating something beautiful. And of course, we're moving forward in so many interesting ways. The big one being in-person services beginning September 12th. Now, we will continue with Zoom and YouTube. That won't stop. We're going to continue that. We have people all over North America and into the Caribbean who are attending our services. So we want to make sure that we leave that open. However, we are excited and delighted to be meeting at the Dawn on the Danforth, which is basically Main and Danforth, if you know the area at all. Right near the subway stop, lots of parking. It's a great location, and as you can see, it's a beautiful venue. So we're very excited, and we invite you and your friends and your family, come on down and join us on September 12th and every Monday thereafter moving forward. And the other exciting thing that's going on that we don't have a slide for right now is youth group. I'm starting a youth group on the second Saturday in September at 6 p.m. Food and fun and a great spiritual message for these beautiful young people. So 13 to 17-year-olds are invited. And the details, I believe, are on our website. And if not, you can email the office at admin@cslonthelake.com to get everything you need. All right, now let us just join together in consciousness as we close out this service today. What I know is that the infinite eternal presence of the Divine One is felt, known, realized, and experienced through each one of us. And that something beautiful is happening as a result of this time together. So I'm grateful and I'm filled with love and gratitude for each person present, for all that we are and all that we do. And so with a great sense of gratitude, peace, and love, I release these ideas into a law of mind where I know it is done. All is well, and so it is. And now, Eddie Watkins Jr., all is well.
I'm not worried about tomorrow, but today I declare freedom from yesterday, mistakes of the past. Today all things are made brand new. And don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should? I can change my reality by changing my mind. Perfect peace, joy, and happiness is yours and is mine. I am blessed and so are you. And don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should? Let me hear you say, all is well, all is well. Divine Spirit is directing me right now. All is well, all is well, all is well, and unfolding as it should. I am cloaked in the Spirit. I am shaped by the divine. I am one with all that is. My soul is free from time. I am blessed and so are you. And don't it feel good to know? Don't it feel good just to know that my soul is free from time, and all I got to do is change my mind. I'm free, y'all. Don't it feel good? All is well and unfolding as it should. All is well.
Well, thank you so much for joining. I hope you'll stick around for a little bit and join the conversation. And let me fix this so everybody can unmute themselves.